Hello everybody, welcome back to my top 50 favorite films of all time. This time we're counting from 40 to 31. And I'm ready to do this. This is going to be so much fun. As you can tell, just got out of the shower, just woke up not too long ago, and I'm still really tired. I am beat, but I'm going to do this video because I love all of you. Now, the first movie I'm going to talk about is The Tingler. The Tingler, I don't know what it is. There's something about this movie that's just a lot of fun. It's my favorite Vincent Price movie. I love Vincent Price. He's one of my favorite actors of all time. And while this may not be his most horrifying role, this is the movie I had the most fun with. I like the whole idea that the tingling down the spine is something that's growing and can kill, and that's just fun to watch. It's not a overly dark horror film. There is a really good acid trip scene in the movie. I liked that a lot. Well, kind of an acid trip. That was a really fun scene, and the scene in the theater was also a lot of fun. I wish I could have seen this when it was in theaters, but unfortunately that was many years ago. Over what, this was the 40th anniversary edition. This was about 50 years ago this came out, and it's just a lot of fun to watch. Next is my favorite animated Disney film. It's Alice in Wonderland. Now, the reason it's Alice in Wonderland is because it's not just a standard Disney film. It's a surreal, atmospheric trip. No princess, none of that stuff. It's just a ride. It's just a thrilling experience from start to finish, and it's the one I have most enjoyment with. I love the character of Alice. I love how she's stuck in this world that she doesn't really understand. And one thing I could say about this movie is that I didn't see this until recently, and it became my favorite animated Disney film. Next, it's the best found footage horror film of all time. It's not Paranormal Activity, it's not Blair Witch, it's not Cannibal Holocaust. We already talked about Cannibal Holocaust. It's Wreck, the original, not the quarantine remake. I never saw the remake. But this, let me tell you something. My friends and I watched this back in high school. Everyone was scared. This movie is terrifying. Now, it just holds the fear to the umpth degree, and it is phenomenal. I cannot recommend Wreck enough. Maybe some people won't like it because it's in foreign language, but in that case, just watch the remake. I don't really think you should, though. But this is a phenomenal film. It's one of the most terrifying films ever. Next is my favorite slasher film of all time, and if anyone in here watches my videos, they'll already know my favorite slasher film of all time, and it's The Burning. The Burning is my all-time favorite slasher. It has plenty of gore, plenty of fun, plenty of atmosphere, plenty of everything that a slasher film needs. It does Friday the 13th better than Friday the 13th ever wished it did. And I also like Friday the 13th a little bit. But this is the gold standard. This is how the camp horror slasher film should work. I think from start to finish it is a lot of fun. It is a great ride. I cannot recommend this movie enough. It's very underrated. It needs to be seen more. Next is my favorite Dwayne Johnson film, and I love Dwayne Johnson. The Rock, he's my boy. I love The Rock so much. He's one of the most likable guys in Hollywood today. And it's The Rundown. This was before he was really big. He was already big in wrestling, obviously, but this is before he had a full-blown acting career as he does now. This is the first Rock movie I ever saw, and it is one of his earliest films. And this one is also the most fun of all of them. And it uses the setting perfectly. Everything just works. The action is always done at a great pace, and his character is also very likable. I'm not a big fan of Sean William Scott, but I did like Goon, so I guess he is growing on me, and this is a good role for him. I just think he plays this stiff-willed character a little too much, or that type of character, but this one he's fine. And even if I just straight up hated him, The Rock's character in this and everything else would just work still. And it's funny, but it does have dark moments. And it's not overbearingly dark, but it still does work. Next is my favorite Universal horror film, and some people may know, but it's Dracula. Dracula is the 75th anniversary edition. This is obviously older than that now. And one thing I have to say about this case is that it was glued on upside down, so it doesn't close properly, but whatever. This is just a great film. I cannot recommend this film enough. It is the quintessential horror masterpiece. It is the best Dracula film ever, and I don't care what anyone says. I know there's a Spanish version, but that version doesn't have Bela Lugosi in it. Bela Lugosi is Dracula. This is what people see when they see Dracula. He is this guy right here. Everyone wishes they could be this Dracula, but no one, unfortunately, can be because he set the gold standard, and you know what? It's just never going to be top. Next is my favorite Paul Verhoeven film. It's Robocop. Robocop. This movie is a lot of fun. It's also very dark because someone, I forget who made the video, but someone made a video talking about how in this movie, the bad guys already won. The bad guys aren't the criminals, it's the corporations. And throughout the movie, yeah, they already won, they already took over. But still, aside from that, Robocop's struggle against the bad guys of that movie, the villains, is a lot of fun to watch. And throughout the movie, you see him understanding the corruption that is taking place in this department, even though he is just kind of a robot, but he still retains his humanity. I never saw the remake, I never will see the remake. I might wind up seeing the remake, not by choice. Someone's probably just going to say, let's watch the remake, and I'll be like, no, but they'll make me watch it anyway. And this movie's just all out, just a lot of fun. It has great action, great characters, great acting. It's over-the-top violence at its best, and I love it. Okay, 3 more left. Next we have my favorite Punisher movie, and it's The Punisher with Thomas Jane and John Travolta. This is the Punisher done the best, I think, so far. I know a lot of people say that in Punisher Warzone he looked like the Punisher, but I think this one did the character a bit better. And I also like his origin in this one better than even in the comic books. I think this one just worked better. And the acting is just better in this one than it was in all of them. That's one thing I can highly say about this one, is that this one has the best acting than in any of them. And in this, it shows that he is more tactical than just a guy who just goes around shooting everybody. There is action in it, sure, but he's more of a tactical guy, and I like that about him. Oh man. I know this next one's going to stir up some controversy, not from the same way that, you know, Cannibal Holocaust would. But I love this movie. I saw this movie in elementary school. I always loved it, and I always will love it, I think. It's the Super Mario Brothers movie. I know, everyone hates this movie, but I enjoy it a lot. It is actually more accurate to the game than people think. I don't know how you really adapted the game into reality. I think that's kind of one of the bigger problems. And I know that Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo both hate this movie. Unfortunately, Bob Hoskins isn't with us anymore, from what I understand. But John Leguizamo, he doesn't really talk about it either. He'll talk about the past before he'll talk about this movie. That's kind of funny. I follow him on Facebook, and he is a funny guy. But this movie I just have a blast watching this movie. I just don't know what it is. It brings a smile to my face. It just works better than I think people think it does. It very much is a symbol of the 90s. This was the 90s before everything changed. This is the quintessential 90s movie. While it may not be the most 90s movie, I guess, it just is kind of a remnant before life started getting weird. And that's probably why I like it so much. This was before, it was released before, you know, we got caught up in all that weird nonsense in our country. And even as a kid, it was before life started getting really weird. So that's probably why it holds such a great place in my heart. Next, I'm wearing this shirt. I talked about it before, and I'm going to talk about it again. And it is Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes, the Guardians of the Galaxy. What can I say about Guardians of the Galaxy that hasn't been said by almost every reviewer out there? It is just a great comedy, action, science fiction film. It is the best Star Wars film we've had in years. Will it be better than Star Wars Force Awakens? Maybe, I don't know, I haven't seen it yet. But Guardians of the Galaxy is just an all-out, fun time. From start to finish, all the characters are likable. Groot is amazing. The action is beautifully choreographed. The effects are wonderful. The dialogue is great. It is funny, it is fun, and it is just a wonderful, wonderful film. And as of now, it's my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. Anyways, that is part 2 of my top 50 favorite films of all time. Tomorrow I'll be posting the next, part 3, and then the day after that, part 4, and then part 5. I hope you all enjoy this series so far. Y'all take care. God bless.